สวัสดีค่ะนุ้ยนะคะก็จะมาทำซับไตเติลนะคะถ้าใครรู้ภาษาอังกฤษนะคะถ้าใครเข้าใจภาษาอังกฤษให้เข้าไปดูช่องของคุณหมอนะคะชอนโอมาร่านะคะอันนี้คุณหมอจะอธิบายเกี่ยวกับไขมันในช่องท้องนะคะแต่ว่าไขมันในช่องท้องภาษาไทยเนี่ยเขาแปลเหมือนกับว่าไขมันอยู่ในช่องท้องอย่างเดียวนะคะแต่ว่ามันอยู่ทั่วร่างกายนะคะเรียกว่า visceral fat ก็คือไขมันในช่องท้องนะคะโอเคนะคะอันนี้ก็จะเปิดซับไตเติลนะคะ13 นาทีถ้าใครไปอ่านเนี่ยแล้วทำความเข้าใจนะคะมันเกิดมาจากเรากินแป้งน้ำตาลนะคะมนุษย์ควรจะกินเนื้ออย่างเดียวนะคะเป็นล้านปีมาแล้วที่ดั้งเดิมเขากินเนื้อทีนี้เราจะต้องกลับไปกินเนื้ออีกค่ะแล้วเราจะได้มีร่างกายที่สมบูรณ์แล้วคุณหมอก็มีวิธีนะคะมีวิธีล้างละลายไขมันอันนี้นะคะคลิปหน้านุ้ยจะทำวิธีล้างไขมันนะคะขอบคุณทุกคนนะคะที่ติดตามแล้วก็เปิดใจนะคะอันนี้คือยาสีแดงขั้นสุดท้ายนะคะถ้าใครไม่เปิดใจตอนนี้คุณจะไม่รอดนะโอเคนะคะแล้วก็การปฏิบัติก็คือลดแป้งตอนนี้นะคะลดนะคะคือลดวันเดียวไม่ได้ลดแป้งลดน้ำตาลคือน้ำตาลเนี่ยลดไปเลยแต่อาหารพวกแป้งเนี่ยก็ค่อยๆลดนะคะเพราะว่ามันยากนะคะอันนุ้ยก็ยังกินอยู่แต่ว่ากินน้อยมากเมื่อก่อนเนี่ยนุ้ยกินประมาณ3 ถ้วย4 ถ้วยต่อวันเนาะตอนนี้อาจจะเป็นเหลือช้อนหนึ่งคือมันเป็นคาร์โบไฮเดรตจากนมจากโปรตีนผงนะคะเพราะว่าไม่งั้นถ้าไปกินข้าวเนี่ยมันจะกินเยอะโอเคนะคะนุ้ยจะทำซับไตเติลนะคะโอเคลืมโอ้ทำไปแล้วค่ะ
Dr. Sean here. Are your muscles marbled like this steak? If they are, you have double the risk of death of an obese person. And it may happen even if you're not obese. And
มันเกิดได้กับทุกคนนะคะไม่เฉพาะคนที่อ้วนคนที่ไม่อ้วนก็เกิดเช่นกันถ้าเกิดอยู่ในถ้าไขมันนี้ไปเกาะที่หัวใจนะคะหรือว่าเส้นเลือดอุดตันอย่างเงี้ยคนผอมถึงได้เป็นโรคหัวใจไงคะอันนี้
Nobody's talking about this. Crazy. It's gonna get out. But if you're following me now, you can learn about this. End the insanity. Why are you pausing? You got to deal with this. Let's get into it. I'm going to expose the truth because it's not being talked about. And I'm sick and tired of conventional healthcare not embracing this and not figuring it out. It was kept for you. All right, I get that. But some of you doctors are watching it and you're like this. Yeah, well, it's time you pay attention. You got to follow this stuff and pay attention to what's going on. So let's look at this. Here is muscleized steak. Here is muscleized human tissue. If you're reading and you're a radiologist, you start reporting this, double the risk of death. It's like ignoring cancer. Go to your doctor. Start educating him. Ask him, why don't you talk about this? Do I have it? That's what you need to find out. Double the risk of death compared to obesity. So let's take a look at it a little bit closer, okay? All those fat streaks, inflammatory fat. Does that look like muscle you want to have in your leg? You don't want to be eating that steak either. And it's being ignored. You do not want to have legs like this. This client came to me just recently and had these legs. I was so overwhelmed, I couldn't talk. I got locked up. I got so emotional because I was thinking, oh my God. I mean, it's like what I know and what this poor client knows and nobody's talking about. Overwhelming to me. So here's the study, here's the science. Take a screenshot of this so you can pull up the study in the journal Radiology that just came out 2023. And here it shows that AI has figured this out, okay? AI is figuring out what's been around for all the time, ignored by doctors, ignored by them, and you're going to them, and here's what's happening to you over the years. You're getting worse. You're getting more medicines. And it's because this stuff is being ignored because it's not taught in medical school. And I'm going to find out why. If I get killed, you, my followers, have to look into this. But this insanity has got to end. So you, if you're learning about this, can start to get your own analysis, get your own scans, and figure out if this happened to you and time to do something about it, right? So you don't want to look like this, you want to look like this, okay? This cow eats a species-appropriate diet. It's eating grass. This cow eats carbohydrates, sugar, molasses. It's fed antibiotics. It's confined. It's not doing exercise. It's not outside in a pasture, walking around, running around, getting sunshine. That's what this cow is doing, okay? This cow is super sick. In cattle feed, they're now putting Skittles. Recently, a cattle feed truck turned over is in the news because it was filled with Skittles. So that's what they're doing. Does that sound familiar? So, and one of my clients is a veterinarian. He said he was a large animal veterinarian. He said, I made all my money on these cows because I only got called for cows that were fed grains and soy and carbohydrates and got antibiotics. I was never called for these cows that were for grass. Stop and pause and think about that. Rewind if you need to. You eat a species-appropriate diet, you're going to be healthy, and you're not going to have to go to your doctor, chances are, the most of you, if you just live healthy. It's more than just eating. You got to be out in sunshine. You got to be running around those fields like those cows are. It's a lifestyle, okay? That's what I'm telling you. It's why I'm into health optimization. Other social influencers out there, you just eat this way. Just eat this way. No, you got to live healthy, okay? If you're going to escape disease, because that's where you're heading to this terrible progressive chronic disease. And it's going to be more than just eating, but that's where it starts. The most important thing is diet. Well, let's look at this comparison, okay? Let's look at what's going on. This is a marbleized piece of steak. This is marbleized humans. This is a grass-fed cow. This is human muscle that is not marbleized. You want to look like these. You don't want to look like this. Okay, what is going on? What is the relationship we see? It starts with visceral fat. This deadly inflammatory fat within the abdomen of individuals. When you have less amount of this, you have less of muscle marbling in your legs. Now, do you want to have that kind of marbling in your legs looking like this? What's going to happen? Then you wonder why, you're 80 years old and you got to get help. You got to get help getting up and out of a chair because you can no longer do that because your muscles have been replaced with inflammatory fat. Nobody's warning. This has been going on. It's going on for decades inside your legs. And nobody's talking about it because this has been going on for decades inside your belly. The insanity has got to stop. If you're following me, you know what to do. You've been following my strategies. If you're new to my YouTube channel, then I'm going to get into my strategies at the end of this video so you can see that. The sad thing is both of these are read as normal. The normal MRI of the abdomen, normal MRI of the abdomen. But they couldn't be further. It's like bricks and clouds difference. Bricks and clouds difference, okay? But they're read as normal because they don't teach physicians myosteatosis in medical school, fatty infiltrate of the muscle, and they don't teach us visceral fat. And it's just a hard reality. Google, follow Dr. Anna Rosa. She's on Instagram, and she was recently on Food Lives with Brian Sanders. Check out her fantastic podcast. And I hope she goes on a lot of other podcasts. 25 years a radiologist. And never read visceral fat, never read myosteatosis, never taught it, never asked about it, despite going to medical school, residency, getting her MD and her PhD. And she has now realized that this is being kept from doctors. But it doesn't have to be kept from you. If you're following me, now you know this information. All right, here's another interesting fact. So as these muscles are falling apart and their fatty infiltration, this is the bone, okay? The bone is this black right here. This is the bone marrow because fat shows up as white on an MRI scan. So this is bone marrow. and look how thin that bone is, okay? But if you look at this bone, you can see how much more thick it is. They're both the same age. Both of these individuals are 74 years old. Which one do you want to look like? Which one are you? You don't know unless you get in this scan. They won't tell you. So I'm going to slowly put together courses to teach you how to read your own MRI because doctors aren't taught how to do this. It's not the doctor's fault unless you're a doctor, you're watching this and you're blowing this off. Shame on you. Yeah, I'm getting mad. Tired of people dying and falling apart because this is being kept from them. So these thinning bones break. That's why you end up, 80 years old and you got a femur fracture. And do you know what the mortality is if you're 85 and you break that leg, that bone? 95% are dead because when that breaks. You don't want this to slowly go on without detection. You want to do something about it in time. So let's take a look again. This client filled with these fatty infiltrates and their bone is thinning compared to this bone. See how thick it is? See how much thicker that this black is compared to that up here? It's thinning here. And how much more lean this is not actually fat. These little streaks are actually artifact caused by me from my laptop and the light. And I had to read a CD when I was traveling. I don't have a CD to read today. So anyway, it's artifact, but you can see the rest of that muscle is nice and lean. Now, interesting thing, this client is only 53. They're young. This client, 78. 78. You can look like that if you do what this guy's doing. He's carnivore. He's eating ferments and he's sprinting. And he's one of my clients. Yeah, one of my oldest clients, 78. And this guy has some of the best legs. I'm going to say I got about 120 clients I'm working with now. I'd say out of the top three, he's top three, 78. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your most important physical asset? Choices you make, how you live. This guy's been carnivore 7 years, sprinting 4 years, and eating ferments. So that's what you want to do. If you take care of your body, you'll always have that. You'll always be able to be healthy and live a lifestyle that reflects that. If you were driving a car that was falling apart, you would be aware of it. And you do something about it, you take it to a mechanic. Why are you falling apart and putting up with it? Crazy. You don't have to. Do something about it. If you're falling apart, stop the insanity. Go to a physician that is dedicated to improving you, not just making money. So if we can do this for cars, why can't we do this for something as valuable as our bodies? Okay? Now, I know I'm a little charged in this, but that's the reality. Okay? We're talking lives. We're not talking car details or real estate or, jewelry. We're talking lives. And that's why I'm so motivated. I'm so jazzed. It's my passion. So I'm going to help you guys out. Here are my strategies, okay? Take a screenshot of that and follow them. They're self-explanatory. You can do these things, except for it comes down here. Got to optimize those things. And how can you do that? Google it, research it, go to ChatGPT, start reading studies. You can do this on your own, but if you want to expedite it, if you really want to get the best results in the shortest period of time, then you come to me. I will help you optimize and do those kind of things. But I can't, I'm only one person, and I'm bringing on other doctors, so I'll be able to take on more. But for the time being, I'm limited. So I have to be selective who I work with, and it's going to be people who are incredibly motivated, who can afford to do these MRIs. I'm sorry, if you cannot afford to do an MRI, we can't do the follow-up and track all this stuff. You can do these strategies, and listen, I get it. I'm trying to figure out how to do these MRIs cheaper, but it's going to take a while, and I need, more time to figure this out. So give me a little time, and in the meantime, follow these strategies. All right, so hopefully you stayed with me through the end of this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If this is material that you like, also hit that alert button so you can get more of this kind of content. Share it with other people. Warn them about it, okay? Yeah, got a little jazzed in this. I did. But it's because I care so much. And so if you know somebody that you care about that's that can benefit from this video and this content, share it with them, push it to them, and get your scan. Go to your primary care doctor, get them to do these scans. And so you can see what's going on first inside of your abdomen and then inside of your legs. All right, well, I love, again, comments. I love questions.